When language in common use in any country becomes irregular and depraved, it is followed by their ruin and degradation. For what do terms used without skill or meaning, which are at once corrupt and misapplied, denote but a people listless, supine, and ripe for servitude? John Milton, 17th century poet and intellectual. All right. Good morning. Welcome to another morning episode of the Liberty Dad podcast, a discussion on politics and culture. If you're tuning in live, I want to especially thank you for giving me your time so early. Wednesdays, it's hump day. And you know what I like to do on Wednesday? I like to do random dad musings. It's just me grabbing a bunch of things that I don't intend to spend a lot of time on and just simply make a few brief comments and then move on to the next one. And there's not any rhyme or reason to them. I just kind of pick something and then I talk about it. And they may not be in any way connected. So it's kind of like this pile of stuff, if you will. So what's up first? Well, people on the internet just complain to complain sometimes. They really do. So I saw this tweet and it was going around. And at first I kind of ignored it because I was like, whatever, because it's about Taylor Swift. I don't really care about Taylor Swift so much. I don't have any problem with her. I just don't care. Like pop star. Okay. Sing songs, get a lot of attention. News at 11, I guess. Like that's what pop stars do, right? Like they get a lot of attention. So this one though caught me because it's criticizing a little kid in a sense. And I think this is at the I'm not really sure what this is. I assume it's a concert. It's just a very quick video. So let me pull this up on the screen here so that you can see what we've got going on here. And let's see there. Uh this. There we go. All right, perfect. So now we got it up on the screen and this is so you see a picture of a little girl and then the tweet is very simple. It's from somebody named Will and he says Taylor Swift has destroyed this generation. Like, wow. Destroy the generation? Okay. So at first I just saw, and you'll see the video in a second. The little girl seems to be crying and like whatever. And then I saw some of my peers commenting on it and they were kind of suggesting like this guy was just being absurd. So I was like, okay, what's going on in this video here? Well, and let's put it up on full screen so that you can see it. There you go. So here it has this little blurb. It says, "My daughter spent all summer selling lemonade to buy her first Taylor Swift ticket." So let's watch this little 17-second video. All right, she's excited. All right. Okay, okay. Nothing wrong with this video. Seriously. Like, if you are angry that Taylor Swift has destroyed a generation because a little girl was excited about her favorite pop star and went and spent the entire summer selling lemonade to buy a ticket, it's a you problem. Like, that's a you problem. That isn't the little girl's problem. That's not a Taylor Swift problem. That's not her generation problem. That's literally what little kids do. They get excited about something. And then if you're a good parent, then you will help them to do things, like sell lemonade or work really hard at home, do the dishes every day or make their bed on whatever it is, right? If you're a good parent, and I know I'm going to get in trouble for that potentially, right? Like, but let's be honest. Us parents, we're judgy. Some parents are some of the judgiest people against other parents. So whatever. So if you're a good parent, you will help your child reach that goal, right? And I think selling lemonade is a great idea. Why not? Makes She spent the time to set up a lemonade stand and then saved up all her money, bought her a ticket, and then went and got to see her in person. And then, she's tears of joy, excited, singing along. Why not? I think this is a great thing. And I'm not particularly I'm not at all a Taylor Swift fan. It doesn't really matter, right? Like, this is something that, yes, kids can do. It's weird because seems to be this like simultaneous criticism that kids aren't learning to be, adults, and they're not learning to, you know, be prepared for the real world. And then somebody says, "Hey, here's my child preparing for the real world," which literally is just that. Hey, I'm going to work really hard, save up money, and then spend it on this thing that I was really excited to go and do. Right. Like, that's what every single adult does. Like, it may be a concert, right, of our favorite song, favorite artist who's aging and still singing, or it could be a cruise or a vacation or what have you. That's literally what we do as an adult. And I think no better time to kind of show children the value of money, the value of hard work, than applying it to their favorite pop star. So, folks out there, if you are angry over this, get over yourself. Seriously, go find something to do. Go touch grass. That's ridiculous. Shouldn't even be talking about this. All right, what do we got next? What's next up? Oh, you familiar with the term MILF? I think I think I'm having a revelation here about something. So let's see what we've got here. It is there we go. Let's move this up a little bit and let's go here. Kind of move a couple things around really quickly so that you can see what we've got going on here. But I saw this other post, and I'll bring up the actual news story in just a moment. Do I have the post anymore? Did I lose it? I think I might have lost it. Oh, there it goes. It's a tweet, and it says, a married Minnesota mother was arrested after she allegedly slept with two teen boys after an argument with her husband. She was staying in the same hotel as a youth Colorado hockey team and let two of the team members get in bed with her while another one watched. The two boys later told, saying they were uncomfortable. I bet. So I was like, you never know what's on the internet. You're like, it's an old story. It just happened like 7 years ago, and someone's just kind of recycling it for some clicks. Well, as it turns out, no, this is absolutely a relevant story today. So here is the People magazine article on it. Minnesota mom accused of sexually abusing two youth hockey players after discussing marital problems in hotel hot tub. Well, I'm glad to see that finally we're using words like sexually abusing, because that is what it was. So what is the story here? A Minnesota mother is accused of sexually abusing two teen hockey players. Sorry about that. Who were in town for a tournament, police say, according to multiple reports. Allison Chardon, 39, is charged with two counts of criminal sexual conduct, jail records indicate. Citing authorities, the Star Tribune, CBS News, and the Pioneer Press reported that Chardon is accused of going to a hotel room in Roseville, Minnesota with the teenagers on January 14th. So this was like literally a month ago, and sexually abusing them. Good use of the word there. The outlets reported that authorities allege Chardon met the hockey players in the hotel's pool area. According to the criminal complaint, she was in the hot tub with the teens and allegedly told them she was having marital problems. Dear teenagers, I don't think that there are any teenagers watching this show. But if you are, if an adult woman comes to you and starts telling you about her marital problems, run. Literally get up and run as if it was an actual predator who grew up watching Lifetime movies, because that's probably who it is. Run. According to the Star Tribune, citing the criminal complaint, Chardon allegedly messaged one of the boys on Snapchat after meeting him and said, like, there are so many details in this story that are so wrong. Like, this is insane. You're a 39-year-old woman and you went and talked to 2 15-year-old boys about your marital problems. And I read another article. It kind of went into some details. I think it was details from the actual court records or whatever. And they were just, it's more disturbing than what I'm reading here. Some of the details. It's like really bizarre. And I don't understand. I have trouble understanding because I'm like, I've interacted as a 40-year-old man with teenagers occasionally, right? Like my friends will come over, they'll have and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" Right? The other day, he wasn't underage, he was like 19. The pest control guy who brings his son along with him and, is kind of showing him the ropes and whatnot. And so the son is in the house doing the regular service, and he had expressed that he wants to open up a business, a comic book store and a comic book store slash video game exchange place, right? And I encouraged him. And, we were just talking about things related to comic books and his store and, things along that line. Not my marriage, which is in good shape, but this is bizarre. Like, I don't understand what it is that is causing this to happen because we keep seeing these stories in the news, right? And we get to this point where you see a lot of people and they're like, well, where were all these teachers and where are all these women when I was 15? I get it. As a man, if I was 20, I might say that. Now that I'm 40, I don't say that because these are predators. That's exactly what they are. So I got to thinking about it and I was like, wait a minute. When I was growing up, it was really popular to talk about MILFs. Now, if you don't know what it is, mothers, I'd like to guess that next word. Okay. I'm sure you can figure it out. And it feels like all that talking turned it into a reality, right? Like, because when I was growing up, there were no attractive 20-year-old teachers that were sleeping with their students. We didn't have that. Like, all of my teachers were like 40 or 50. And from a from a young boy's perspective, none of them were attractive, right? And so there was that, like, that just didn't happen. And then, we kind of got into this age where a lot of the teachers seem to be younger, and then you just keep seeing stories like this pop up. Now, this is probably the most egregious one that I've seen because it starts off like this, and like the details of it are like at one point the husband comes down, he's yelling at the wife, and he's like, "You need to come up here. It's your last chance, or this marriage is over." And the woman's like talking to these teen boys. I'm like, what is wrong with you that you thought that teenage boys were your go-to when you were having marital problems? This is so absurd. So I'm blaming the whole MILF culture for this. Like, the whole idea of MILFs is, in my opinion, what is causing young women to now be predators. And that's exactly what they are. And I'm glad to see that people are speaking up on social media. In fact, it was funny, the tweet that I read where it's like a Minnesota mother was arrested after she allegedly slept. So somebody responded and it said title should be pedophile from Minnesota arrested for raping 2 underage boys at hotel after marriage spat. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. We can turn this thing around, folks. We just need to make sure that when we see something that's a little more on the neutral side or positive side, that we say, nope, that's not what it is. That is sexual abuse, that is rape, that is any number of those terms that ensures that we are communicating this is a terrible action. That's what it is. All right, enough of that. Moving on. What do we got here? There's another actual news article here. Let's see what that one says. Pull it up here. So this one caught my attention, and let's get you back here. All these buttons I've got to click. All right. So this one is most casualties from recent attacks in Middle East are brain injuries. Fortunate, very, very unfortunate here. Roughly 186 troops have been injured or killed in attacks on U.S. personnel in the Middle East since mid October. Did you know that? I was not aware of these numbers. Of those, 130 have been traumatic brain injuries. The Pentagon confirmed on Monday. That means TBIs resulting from the blast impacts of missiles, mortars, and drones make up 70% of the total number of casualties, which include 3 soldiers who were killed in the January 28th attack on Tower 22 in Jordan. So, what is the answer here? We do expect the number to continue to fluctuate as our service members with TBI report symptoms, with TBI report symptoms later on. So, they expect the numbers to go up. So, that number could continue to grow, this briefing said. The number of troops injured in Iran-backed militia attacks more than doubled following the Tower 22 incident, according to numbers provided by the Defense Department. What is the answer here? The answer is very simple. Bring our troops home. We're not at war. They don't need to be out there. Period. It's that simple. Bring them home. Stop putting. I appreciate, and I think most Americans would agree, I appreciate the fact that soldiers would be willing to put their lives on the line for this country. We need people like a voluntary military is the best thing. We get the best soldiers that way, right? We get people that are going to go into battle and do what they need to do. They're going to protect each other, so on and so forth, right? I appreciate that. What I don't like is that we abuse it. And I'm not exaggerating. We abuse somebody's willingness to put their lives on the line by putting them in situations where they are not in any way protecting the United States. They're protecting other countries, show of force, various other reasons that they're out there, but they're out there in harm's way for no benefit to the United States. Bring them home, period. The only time we need to have troops abroad is if we are engaged in a conflict or are getting ready to be engaged in a conflict. And it's really that simple. Really, nothing more needs to be said on that. What do we got next? I think I got one more item here to talk about. No, I have 2 more items. So this one is interesting. It's Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day. But apparently I'm 45 and I'm just now learning that there is something called this. There's an anti-Valentine's Day movement. I had no idea. So I saw a news article I saw something and I was like, really? So I kind of did a little more research and I came up with a media clip. So let's watch this media clip here because they're going to tell you all about it. And what is this anti-Valentine's Day if you don't know, because I am just now learning.
Valentine's Day is a day for love and romance, but it can also be a time for change. Did you know that the week before Valentine's Day, leading up to what's known as Red Tuesday, is when more couples split up than at any other time of year?
While many businesses
That's wild. I had no idea, and I didn't even know that we had a name for it called Red Tuesday. This is wild. Okay, I can kind of see where this is going.
want to sell you candy and flowers. Others are catering to the anti-Valentine's consumer. CBS 58's Bill Walsh looks at one promotion that might be a little unappetizing.
Some of you love Valentine's Day, but for the rest of you, Charities and businesses across the country have your back. An animal rescue in Michigan will let you name a feral cat after your ex, then neuter it. This weekend,
I mean, that is the most absurd thing. Naming a feral cat after your ex and then neutering it. I mean, look, I get it. Feral cats are a problem. So I think it's a good thing to capitalize on this so that we can get a little bit better control of the feral cat issues. Some cities have it worse than others, but that is, I just couldn't imagine doing that for that. Like if my ex was named Jennifer or something, and I was like, all right, I want you to name this feral cat Jennifer, and just snip. That's crazy. People can be so vindictive. But okay, anyway, let's continue on.
Junk King Milwaukee will dump your ex's belongings for free and make a donation to the American Heart Association.
Drop the stuff in the truck, get rid of those bad memories and bad ideas, and move on with your life.
Pizza Hut.
Okay, so I like that idea. That's kind of a neat idea. Like, hey, can you come and get all this junk, from my ex? We split up, and so I'm going to have like a bed and TV and a lawn chair. Please take everything else. But so that's kind of a cool idea. Like, hey, come and get it and then make a donation to the Heart Association. Okay, cool.
Is offering a goodbye pie with a broken-hearted pizza on the box. It's a way to break the bad news to your soon-to-be not Valentine. We asked people if.
So this is kind of interesting. Now, you might have seen me just kind of look over and kind of give a thumbs up. That was Mrs. Liberty Dad heading out for the morning, and she did not leave me a pizza box. So I think it's safe to say today is going to be a good Valentine's Day for us. But that's kind of interesting, like giving pizza, like, hey, by the way, here's our breakup pizza. I don't know.
Pizza Hut is on to something here. It does avoid an awkward conversation.
It depends, right? Like it depends how involved you were.
Okay.
But I think there are worse ways.
Some thought a pizza breakup is better than being ghosted. Still others found it to be in bad taste.
I probably would be so sick to my stomach I wouldn't eat it.
Is there a right way to break up with someone? Some tell us there is no such thing.
People should know when people don't want to be with them anymore. Your energy is everything. You shouldn't really have to tell somebody.
Well, I don't know about all that, but look, I would not give a breakup because one, I mean, think about okay, let's break it down. You have to buy the pizza. So you're literally buying one more thing for this significant other that you're leaving. So why save your money and just do it the old fashioned way. Give them a call or meet up in person and be like, look, it's not working out. We need to split up. Now, if there's issues of safety, I get it, which of course you're not going to be buying a pizza if there's an issue of safety anyway. But for most of them, I'm old fashioned because I'm like 45. I'm old. Okay. And I think that the best way to break up with somebody is just to tell them, just say, hey, it's not working out. I've done it and countless other people have done it. And no, it's not easy. It's rough when you're like, hey, I'm breaking up with you. And then they're like, no, please don't. I love you. I'll do anything. Okay. Nobody's ever said it quite like that to me, but it happens. Like, that's just part of the dating situation, right? Like, if you can't have that uncomfortable conversation with somebody, what happens later on when things are, maybe on the rocks or something? And are you going to be capable of having, a tough conversation then any more than you were, with somebody that you wanted to let go? I don't think so. I think that's good practice for when you are married and when those uncomfortable times do come. And then you need to say, look, let's sit down. I don't like how, you've been acting, this, and whatever the case may be, whatever's going on, right? Like, you need to be able to sit down and have those uncomfortable conversations so you can work out those details and you can make it through another Valentine's Day. All right, let's watch the rest of this video. I think there's about another minute or so.
Can mend a broken heart through their stomach, but people and businesses might want to be careful. In pizza and in life, there's a thin crust between love and hate.
A pizza would not do it for me. No. Be honest. Be gentle.
Shut up. Does it have to be face to face?
I think that's the healthiest way to do it.
Boom.
I really do believe that.
Exactly.
With this story on our website, we have the way you can redeem this goodbye pie if you want. Oh, PF Chang's is hopping on. They're giving dumplings to the people recently dumped.
That's
Some
it?
PR ad wizard came up with the
Dumplings.
getting dumped free food idea, and now everyone's running
Right.
with it.
I guess it's
Dumplings
a
and a Pizza Hut pizza ain't gonna do it for me.
thing.
Listen, Amanda, I'm sure
I
you have
want
handled all your breakups
5-star
with
meal
the utmost
person.
maturity
I have.
and delicateness, as have we all.
Right.
All right.
So,
All right. So
Yeah, go to-
Duncan, everybody runs, America runs on Duncan, runs away. I don't know. I'm trying to make stuff up on the fly, and that's not really my wheelhouse. Anyway, I encourage you that if you need to break up with somebody, do it in person, call them on the phone. Don't send a text. Don't send a pizza. Don't waste your money on somebody that you're leaving anyway. That seems kind of absurd. But, if you have to, then you have to get in on it. But whatever the case is, I hope that if you're watching, you happen to have a happy Valentine's Day today. Let's get to my very last story here. So let's see what we've got. This one is kind of funny because let's see if I can get it up here on the screen. And there we are. All right. So we're going to get it up on the screen. So this is the media doing its thing once again. You know how every now and then somebody puts together a montage of media clips and it's like they're all saying the same thing? Well, there's another one of those. So this one involves the president, President Joe Biden. So let's take a look and see what it is that's got people talking. Let's see here where we want to go. We want to go to this one. Yeah, there we go. Leftist media are once again parroting the White House by calling the DOJ report exposing Biden's mental decline gratuitous. All right, well, let's see what's so gratuitous about it. All right, and big on the screen. There we
The
go.
word of the day when this report came out to describe the descriptions was gratuitous. And I think that was right. There were cheap shots.
I found some of the language in the report a little bit gratuitous.
I think that this special counsel report was gratuitous.
This gratuitous language that he used. Gratuitous language about his mental acuity.
A very gratuitous hypothetical about Biden's age.
I think the word gratuitous is generous. There was so much unnecessary, inflammatory, and partisan kind of language that was used about President Biden in there.
There's a Justice Department tradition that you don't interfere with presidential elections. This seems like the height of interference. It's gratuitous.
Republicans making hay out of the gratuitous age comments in the report.
This is a little bit, in my view, beyond editorializing. It is gratuitous political hackery.
In my view.
All of the other language, we use the word extraneous, we use the word gratuitous, but like I said, I think those are generous words. Those are just actually too nice to say. They were not supposed to be there.
So wild, right? Gratuitous. Remember the comment that the quote that I had at the very top of the show here? Let's put it back up on the screen for you. When language in common use in any country becomes irregular and depraved, it is followed by the ruin and degradation. For what do terms used without skill or meaning, which are at once corrupt and misapplied, denote but a people listless, supine, and ripe for servitude? We are putting ourselves in a position to be ripe for servitude because we allow this to happen. We should totally mock the media. I love that the one gentleman in there, like right in the middle of it. He's like, in my personal view, this is gratuitous. And I'm like, well, no, it's not your personal view. If you and every other person is saying the same word, like you guys can't even, there's like some several 100,000 words in the English language. And you couldn't come up with anything other than gratuitous. Like somebody used that word and everybody else said, that's a good word. I guess I'll stop thinking. I don't need to think about it anymore. Gratuitous. But here's the really funny part. The media is really mad about this notion that Biden is having some mental decline. Now, the man is like 80 years old. So if I were to tell you my grandma has passed away, but if I said, man, my grandma's like 80 and she's got some mental decline, nobody would be surprised. They'd be like, well, yeah, she's like 80. Like that's what happens when you become 80. And if you happen to be super sharp at 80, that's like a bonus, right? Like that's kind of out of the ordinary. So the idea that our president, who is a bazillion years old, is having mental decline should not come as a surprise to anybody. nor should it be described as gratuitous when people point it out. But I want to point out something else because one of the things that I love doing is I like to go back and I like to look at what the media, what media said, at some point prior, right? Like they'll say like, well, you know, this is the most like they'll say like this is the most important election of our lifetime, and then you'll go back like several elections and you'll look at the media and they'll have said the same things, right? It's like they constantly say the same things. So in terms of presidential mental health, what were they saying about the last president? Well, as it turns out, Google has a nice little feature that we can use to take a look. So let's bring that up on the screen here. All right, so what I did was just typed in Donald Trump mental health, and then if you go if you look over here, let me get to the actual screen so I can show it to you. So if you look here, you can see where it says January 1, 2015 to December 31, 2020, right? Through his term as a president. So then you can see that the dates here, January 6, 2018, 2020, so on and so forth. So if we look at the headlines, Trump's mental health and why people are discussing it. Election 2020, where Trump and Biden stand on mental health and substance. Psychiatrists debate weighing in on Trump's mental health. America at risk. Trump behavior suggests mood and personality disorders. What Donald Trump's mental health exam doesn't tell us. Remember the mental exam that he did, and then it came out fine, and he was like, "Yeah, it's great." And of course, he boasts and lives it up, right? Trump is now dangerous. That makes his mental health a matter of public interest. Wow, that's amazing, Guardian. Because if Biden's mental health is connected to him running office, then yes, that is a matter of public interest as well. Psychiatrists submit warning: Trump's mental health deteriorating. Now, so far, we have not actually seen that play out, right? But remember when they were saying, and this is December of 2019, Trump made it easier for the mentally ill to get guns. Okay, that's a different story. Here's another one. Opinion: Trump is mentally unfit. No exam needed. He doesn't even need an exam. Just somebody from the New York Times in 2019 figured out like, hey, you know what? I'm smart enough to say that he doesn't even need an exam. He's totally mentally unfit. Crazy like a fox. Mental health experts try to get inside Trump's mind. This is crazy. Like, so when it was Trump, talking about his mental health was okay. But now that it's Biden, like, whoa, it's gratuitous. It's gratuitous, gratuitous, gratuitous. Or maybe our language is in degradation. All right, folks, that's the show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative, and I don't know if you can call it inspiring, but be sure to catch me weekdays, 7 a.m. for an informed discussion on politics and culture. And then again, Sundays at 7 p.m. with my co-host, Susan Hogarth, to discuss LP happenings. What we do is we look across the vastness of tyranny. We check out every single state affiliate and see what they have on their calendar. We compile it together and bring it to you in a nice, neat little package so that you know what is going on in affiliates in other states. Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel, or if you would prefer my Rumble channel, you can go to youtube.libertydad.com, or you can go to rumble.libertydad.com. Let me know how I'm doing by leaving a comment. Last but not least, I want you to remember that if you are a champion of liberty, your business is people and your product is liberty. I want you to have a great week, a very happy Valentine's Day. But for now, I am out. Have a good one, folks.